Hello and welcome to Ask Your Academic. Today's session will cover the various master's programmes that sit within the School of Biodiversity, One Health and Veterinary Medicine. And we have a huge panel today, which is great. So we should hopefully have lots of exciting information to share with you all. We are recording the session today, so don't panic. There will be a lot of information shared. You will be able to go back and watch that in your own time. If you've got any questions that aren't relevant to the programme, so maybe funding, accommodation, I'll pop some helpful links into the chat box for you. And we've also got an online postgraduate event coming up on the 7th of May, and there'll be various sessions running that'll cover those sorts of things. So I think we should just get started. So if we can go round the room, and if everybody could introduce themselves, that would be great. Ruedi, would you like to kick us off?
Of course, thank you, Naomi. My name is Ruedi Nager. I'm here, I'm the director together with Dorothy McKeegan for the Animal Welfare Science, Ethics and Law programme. And I'm also the overall convener of all our postgraduate taught programmes here at the school.
Perfect. Dominic?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. And my name is Dominic McCafferty. I'm coordinator of the MRes in Ecology and Environmental Biology, and I'm based here at our field station up on Loch Lomond side.
Did you say Tiziana? Sorry, you were muted, Naomi. Yeah. Good morning. My name is Tiziana Lembo. I'm the coordinator for the program Epidemiology of Infectious Diseases and Antimicrobial Resistance, and I teach in some of the courses related to this program.
Jo?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jo Halliday. I'm the deputy lead on the IDAR program that Tiziana's just mentioned. I'm teaching on the KRS course and epidemiology courses.
And Jason?
Hi there, I'm Jason Matthiopoulos. I mostly work on spatial and population ecology, and I'm the coordinator for QMBCE, which stands for, let's see if I can remember it, Quantitative Methods in Biodiversity Conservation and Epidemiology. Full marks for me.
Well done. And we've got some special guests today. Annika?
Hi, everyone. My name is Annika. I am a current master's student in our IDAR program, and I'm originally from the US.
Ronald?
Hi, everyone. My name is Ronald, and I am also an IDAR student, originally from Malawi, and also congratulations for getting the offer for the IDAR program.
So I suppose a good place to start is, could we get a bit of an overview on the various programmes that we are representing on this call? We just go back to the start, and whoever you followed before, just do that again. Ruedi?
Hiya. So I'm coordinating the programme in Animal Welfare Science, Ethics and Law. So we are concerned about we're keeping animals. What does keeping animals and using animals do to the animals? And we're looking at the large context, be it research, be it for food production, be it for entertainment, or being it for research. But that, of course, also raises questions about what we should do. So we're looking also as ethics, and then that too determines then what we must do, the legislation. So it is intersecting all these effects of science, about ethics, and about legislation. If I might just quickly add, Naomi, we also have another two programs about conservation management of African ecosystems, and the new program about applied conservation sciences. And if you're interested in one of these programs, we can help you as well on this panel. No problem. Thank you.
I'll introduce the MRes in Ecology and Environmental Biology. I co-organise this with Francesco Baldini, and the main aim of this programme is to provide you with an opportunity to develop new research methods in ecology and environmental biology, to give you experience of research and allow you to undertake an extended research project that will cover about 2/3 of your credits here on the programme. So it's very much a project that's tailored to your own research interests. It can be on varied topics from animal behavior, ecological genetics, broad scale survey work in ecology. And I guess what it's trying to do is to kind of prepare you either for a career in ecological research, doing a PhD possibly, or working in ecological consultant.
I will introduce the AIDAR program. So in this program, we will provide the students with a broad range of skills to understand processes around the epidemiology of infectious diseases. So we start with a kind of a core course, which is on epidemiological aspects of infectious diseases. And then in the second term, we go into the specifics of applying those topics and tools to antimicrobial resistance specifically. So the second term is really about antimicrobial resistance from epidemiological to societal and policy aspects, as well as there is a course that is very much around genetics and genomics, so kind of more specific molecular tools to understand and detect antimicrobial resistance.
Up next.
I think probably IDAR's covered, so the four of us representing IDAR probably don't need to go over it. Tiziana's
Okay.
information.
So the QMBC isn't so much thematically focused because it roams over all the areas of pure ecology, conservation, epidemiology. We kind of look at all of those applications, but we're mostly focusing on sort of creating this sort of necessary breed of people that are required to delve into the modeling and the data and sort of make sense of the data after they've been collected, but also to help advise how the data should be getting collected and how the theory should be getting developed as a result of those. So we focus on a lot of transferable skills in statistical modeling, in mathematics, in computing, data analysis. And the sort of pleasant aspect of this is that people get to see a wide variety of applications of all these techniques and really get to stretch their imagination about what can be done with this fairly extensive toolbox.
Thank you. We've been asked some questions about the research project for the various programmes. So can we hear a bit about how that works in terms of how you choose your topic, your supervisor, and one person specifically had asked if it's possible to conduct research in your home country, such as Malawi. Would you like to tackle that first?
Shall I try to answer it, because it's quite similar for the whole school. So MRES has one large program, independent research project, and which is starting already in November. So you're very early on, you're going to start choosing that. All the other ones you do have taught courses until about Easter, and then you will move on to the project. But we're trying to get you onto the project or choosing a project early on. So obviously MRES students will choose it very early, and the others will try to choose it in January. We provide a list of supervisors which are available for supervision, and many of the supervisors also propose specific projects, and you will get all that list in about November. And then you can go and contact the supervisors. You can choose of the projects which are on the list. You can choose to talk to supervisors and maybe trying to arrange for a project you would like to do, which is in the expertise of the supervisor. So you have a lot of freedom of developing your own project, and you will then do your project in summer from May to end of August onwards. There is a possibility to do your project in your home country. You would come back, you would collect your data in your home country, but he would come back for the analysis and the writing up back to Glasgow. Anybody wants to add to that, please?
If I could invite both Annika and Ronald to share their experiences, because Annika made some quite remarkable efforts to approach as many people as she thought could provide her with the type of project that she was interested in, and Ronald will be working on data from his own country. So if you could in turn share your experiences, that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I do tend to have a wide range of research interests and projects. So for me, and I also understand how important it is to have a strong personality match with your supervisor, because you will be working very closely for many months. So when I got that initial spreadsheet, I believe it had almost 70 different supervisor options. And then even within each supervisor, they had multiple project offerings, just to give you an idea of the scope of options. And then from there, I believe I had originally contacted about 13 supervisors. And then from there, I started with initial chats over Zoom, for example. And then after that, with a few more supervisors, then I decided to meet in person and discuss more in depth. And I found the spreadsheet to be very well-rounded. And it also involved some options from outside of University of Glasgow options. So if you even want to get involved in the broader UK or the broader Scotland community, you also have those options available to you as well.
Hi. So in my case, which was slightly different from Annika's, because mine was my approach was more focused. I have a background of having completed a Fleming Fund Fellowship in AMR with the University of Edinburgh. So my work really centered around basically understanding AMR in Malawi with a focus on E. coli. So because of that, my focus is on AMR in a One Health setting. So I was looking for basically supervisors who had experience in a low-income country, as well as having worked there, and also the epidemiological skills that I needed. So my approach was really focused on that, and Tiziana was one of the supervisors that I approached. And of course, because I was also supervised during the research AMR research fellowship, I also have a co-supervisor from the University of Edinburgh. So I guess these are the two people who will mainly focus my approach in this work. And so because the research was we've already conducted data collection, I will be focusing on a specific component in this data, and hopefully I'll get a lot of insights from both my supervisors' wide experiences. So Dr. Tiziana Lembo and Adrian Muwonge from the University of Edinburgh. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. That couldn't have went better. The fact that we had a question about Malawi and that's your project. So we're also asked about
perfectly well.
Yeah, we've also been asked about optional courses. So there's a lot of different optional courses available for most of the programs. So can you tell us a bit about how students go about choosing those? Is that right at the beginning, or do they get a bit of time to decide what they're doing?
I can try to answer that as well. Yes, there's no rush to choose your options. You're starting off with a common course which everybody goes through, which takes until November. And then in all the programs, people are moving on to another compulsory course. So course choices are coming from January onwards, and we leave you enough time to make choices. You don't have to decide until Christmas what you want to do in term 2. So you have plenty of time to settle in, to get your experiences, and have plenty of time to choose the options you would like to take. But maybe again, it would be nice to hear it from the perspective of current students, how they experience the course choices.
So for the IDA program, we had we had the opportunity to choose only one from the list of courses, and that's something that should be actually highlighted, because I think the website currently states that you could choose two, but because they've changed some of the credits in some of the modules, we only had the option of one. But yes, we were given a list of, obviously we had the list of all the modules that we could take. Especially, I think the most important thing was that I think the faculty did a very great job to highlight potential clashes between some modules. So it would mean that, for example, if one module is happening at this current time, there's possibly going to be another problem here because different buildings, so you have to factor that in. But I think we were given a document that highlighted everything that we needed to know about the modules, and we also had the opportunity to speak to our academic supervisors, and as well as the coordinators who guided us really on the perfect one for us. I chose molecular epidemiology and phylogenomics because of my interests in AMR, and it was really a nice choice. Definitely hard, but very good to learn. Yeah, Annika, over to you.
Yeah, I would just echo everything Ron said, and I also was in the same course as him. So we had a good mix of IDAR students, but also students from other programs, because to clarify regarding the optional courses, they're not designated by your program that you are in. So there is the opportunity for you to be with peers from other programs, which allows term 2 to be a more interdisciplinary nature, just because you have course mates from different backgrounds. So that's very helpful.
Perfect, thank you. It's really nice getting told how it works and then seeing how it actually works, because it marries up, which is good. And something we're always asked is, what kind of jobs do graduates tend to go on to after they complete the various programs? So will we do a little round the room again? So Ruedi, do you want to kick off?
Yeah, of course. Kind of for our program, if you're looking at the animal welfare, science, ethics and law program, there's a huge diversity of where people are going to. Some want to continue to research in that type of area. They go on to PhD. Some of they do it because for them it's an important mission for them to improve the world about animal welfare. So they may go to campaign. We had one student in the past which came from Indonesia, and the student just felt there is something like a rescue center is missing where he lives, and he went back, and with the knowledge he gained, he founded a rescue center which filled an important gap which was in that country. Some of them may go into policy making and legislation. So we have always, most years we have lawyers joining us to learn about the animal welfare science, so they actually can competently act in a court about animal welfare cases. So I'll pass on to Dom. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I might have briefly touched on this when I introduced the MRes program. And what I'm actually doing now is just having a look at our LinkedIn page, which we have for our program, just to remind me of some of the careers that people have gone into. So we have students entering from the MRes into technician, scientific technician posts within the university here in Glasgow also. We have someone who's just recently joined the Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. We have another person working in research and remote sensing, an organisation called Space Intelligence. Freshwater ecologist. I could probably go through the list, but that just kind of gives you a variety of the types of jobs that MRes students will go into. And then there will be, I would say, about 20 to 25% of our students who will go on to a PhD program within several years of graduating on the MRes.
regarding ADAR, my experience so far is quite a small proportion of students will go on to a PhD. There are some students that are very determined to progress academically, but the vast majority just want to broaden their skills to be more employable also outside academia. So many of the students from low and middle income countries generally come from government jobs already. So it's their own government that sends them here. So they have kind of a job waiting for them when they go back, but they are better equipped to perform their job with the skills that they gain here. Other students have succeeded in obtaining epidemiology posts or data analyst posts with government agencies in the UK, so things like Public Health Scotland or the equivalent in England. So that, yeah, I guess that's experience so far. I know there are some students that are very keen on jobs with international organizations. I mean, currently we actually have a student who is has a position with the WHO country office in her own country, Ghana, and so there are also, you know, those options potentially, international organizations, and antimicrobial resistance is obviously a major focus in terms of international health agencies. So lots of opportunities potentially there as well.
And I think I agree with all of the above. I would also say that in the sort of weekly discussions that we have within QMBC, and that's kind of a way of also saying that for any of the programs, this is not going to be the last time you get to ask these questions, and this is not the last time you get to consider the answers. But anyway, in those regular meetings, a lot of the students that come in surprisingly say that they're doing a master's degree, but they're not really interested in proceeding to a PhD. That number does tend to go up during the year as people discover that research is actually not that uninteresting. And I would say that that proportion that Dominic mentioned of around 20% is accurate. The people who put in the work and want to do a PhD usually get to do a PhD, not necessarily here, but across the world, and fairly soon after graduation. The other people, surprisingly, despite the fact that they've got a lot of analytical transferable skills, don't seem to exit the area of ecology and epidemiology. They do seem to stay within the area, and the other career options, in addition to the ones that my colleagues mentioned, are environmental consultancy, and sort of various options to do with sort of renewables and government advisories.
Thank you. Annika, Ronald, if you don't mind answering, what are your plans for after graduation? You've got all that choice. Do you know what you're going to do?
Yes, I will be returning to my home country, the US, to work at a life sciences company in life sciences consulting.
So as Tiziana had said, I am from Malawi. I work with the National AMR Coordinating Center. So I'm in the Ministry of Health. I have also explored a doctoral training, and I would say that I had quite a lot of support from the faculty, who gave me the mock interviews and just preparation. So when I had I had subsequently had an interview with Northwest Bio. So I would say I'm exploring my options, but at the same time, I will see how it goes in the end.
Yeah. And this is maybe our last question that we'll finish off with, but just in terms of preparation for starting their studies in September, what sort of thing? Oh, sorry, Dominic, you've got your hand up.
Sorry, it was just to come in and add about the new programme which is coming on stream for next session in conservation, MSc in conservation, and built into that is actually as a planned placement where students for their dissertation would be matched with an organisation to work closely with in terms of their project. So again, it's a really nice way of engaging with potential employers. Just thought I'd add that one on.
Thank you. Yeah, so just in terms of preparation, is there anything students can do to prepare for starting their studies in September? And again, it's maybe good to go around the room, but I think this time we'll start with Jason. Give Ruedi a rest.
Part for me. So I think if you've got an offer for QMBC, by all means get in touch with me directly and ask for a particular sort of advice. Not much really needs to be done in preparation because a lot of the courses that we've got as core in the beginning are really refreshers. But if people are particularly keen to delve into sort of some sort of technical subjects, or they feel particularly vulnerable in some way, although the fact that we've made you an offer probably means that we've gone through these sort of requirements already. But anyway, feel free to get in touch with me individually, and I'm very happy to kind of tailor some reading for you, depending on what you tell me and your interest and so on.
Thank you. Jo, do you want to take this?
Sure, I can do that. I think we'd probably say a very similar thing from the IDAR perspective, and that people are very, very able, and we happily talk to people in advance if they have any particular questions. I guess one recurring question that we get is, because we have a broad range of applicant backgrounds, we tend to get people asking if they need to have more quantitative skills, because there are quantitative elements to the training. And one of the key functions of the initial KRS course is to get everyone to a common place on that. So we design this course so that people coming in from a range of backgrounds get the training that they need and all start that way. But if that's a particular concern, it does come up, we can give you some guidance on materials that you can look at in advance for that and other areas that are covered by the course.
Thank you. Dominic, have you got anything to add?
I guess since our program is principally around, choosing a research project quite early on in the program, it can be quite advantageous for students to think about what their research interests are, what areas of ecology will get you up in the morning is what I like to phrase it as, because we want you to be choosing a research project that you're interested in. You'll be given lots of opportunities and choice, but maybe starting to read around some areas of interest might be helpful. And similar to the other comments, some preparation, please get in touch if there's any specific questions that you have.
Thank you. Ruedi, anything you'd like to add in?
I think everybody has covered. I think the important things to emphasize again that all the programs are designed so that we can pick up people from a broad background and getting everybody to a common level which you need for the rest of the program. So I think one of my advices would be come well rested. You will be working very hard for 2 terms. So come very well rested and full of energy. If you want to get in touch and maybe do some preparation reading, or as Dom suggested, what gets you up in the morning, you will have all the contacts for all the program leads. So feel free to get in touch with them and pick up a conversation if you like, ask for a reading list of your particular interest or whatever.
Thank you. And Annika, Ronald, was there anything that you'd done to prepare for starting that you would recommend future students do? Don't all fight at once.
I did not personally prepare anything, but I will say I did have experience being in Scotland from my undergraduate, because I was an exchange student at University of Edinburgh. So I do think in general, if you are new, you'll be new to the UK, you'll be new to Scotland, I do think it would be helpful to just learn a little bit more about even logistical things like weather and climate, just what to pack, what you're prepared for. I think those sorts of things. But generally speaking, I think Glasgow in Scotland is a wonderful place to be a student. And then I also just wanted to add that it's really great that you all are a part of the school, because in my and Ronald's experience, we are both student representatives. We've worked a bit more closely with staff than maybe some other students, and we truly believe that staff here at the school are very receptive, very interested in helping students move forward and improve. So congrats on being offer holders to a wonderful school at this university.
Would you like to add anything, Ronald?
Yeah, I think I would echo what Annika said. I think, and I would say for me, something that played in my favor was that I had the experience in both research, and because I'm also at the National AMR Coordinating Center, I have that diverse experience in AMR's work. So again, because I also had that research fellowship with the University of Edinburgh, I had sort of a baseline that helped me, especially during the KRS. I mean, the KRS is meant to get everyone to that baseline as they move to the more specialized courses. I would say that while it is intended to get you to that baseline, it could also be an uphill climb if you have no experience. So I would say that for those who are not really conversant with, for example, R or statistics or modeling, it would be a good idea to sort of get yourself acquainted. I think there are a lot of resources online that you can learn, that can help you learn, as well as, I mean, the faculty is very, very receptive, as Annika said, and I had moments where I asked for help from the faculty and who offered me that help. And this was even with this baseline that I had. So I would say that ultimately it'll be a very good experience. And congratulations to everyone. And yeah, thank you.
You, and I think that's a nice note to wrap up on. I think we could have spoke for another half hour. But thanks very much to our panel for joining. Thanks to our students for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us too. And thanks to all that have submitted questions. Like our panel have said, if you do have any questions that haven't been answered here or that have been sparked from listening, please do get in touch with the programme lead for your programme, and they will get back to you with any help that you need. And I suppose last thing to say is we hope to see you all in September, and thanks very much for joining. Bye bye.